Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Studies Weekly, week 23. Today is March 30th, Monday, March 30th, and we're going to begin this week talking about the United States after the turn of the century. So we're leading into, it's 1920s. Things are great in America, and it's the beginning of World War One. However, that sparks a lot of things that are going to happen in the next couple of years. And so let's go through and start our Studies Weekly. The United States rises to a world power. At the beginning of the 20th century, Americans looked forward to a time of growth and prosperity. There were many new opportunities for people to find wealth and success. Industry was booming, and America took pride in being a world leader. In 1917, it was time for the United States to use its power and leadership. A war had been waging for control of Europe for over 2 years. So, in Europe, across the Atlantic Ocean, there's a war going on about who's going to control Europe. The Allied powers, which consisted of France, Britain, Russia, and their allies, were at war with the Central Powers, which was led by Germany and Austria-Hungary. At first, America was neutral or uninvolved, so America wasn't involved in the war. We wanted to stay out of it. The country did not support one side or the other. However, the United States was soon sending both money and supplies to help the Allied forces fight against Germany. So we're not supplying troops, we're not fighting in this war, but we are supplying money and goods or military supplies to the Allied powers. And so, in a way, it's kind of like saying that we're helping the Allied powers, which included France, Britain, and Russia. Well, we're supporting them, we're helping them. It was clear to Americans that they'd have to eventually join the fight in Europe. And so, on April 2nd, 1917, the United States declared war against the Central Powers. The Central Powers, again, were Germany, Austria, and Hungary. American troops started pouring into Europe by the thousands. Courageous and strong, the U.S. soldiers played an important role in the war. By the fall of 1918, Germans' chances for victory had been crushed. The United States took a lead in the war efforts. U.S. President Woodrow Wilson spent a great deal of time trying to find a way for all the countries to come to a peaceful agreement and end the war. He wanted to make the world safe for democracy. Now, remember, democracy is our way of government here. His plan, called 14 Points, created the League of Nations. This international organization, so it's an international group, would settle disagreements between countries. President Wilson believed this was a way to help prevent future wars. Interestingly, the United States would never be a part of this group. Congress never approved the country's participation. On November 11th, 1918, an armistice is an agreement to stop fighting, was declared. The countries at war all agreed to stop fighting for a time. Leaders wanted to discuss peace for 6 months, and the countries at war discussed the issues during the Paris Peace Conference. World War I finally came to an end, and the Treaty of Versailles was signed in France on June 28, 1919. Peace wouldn't last long, though. Germany was never truly pleased with the way the war ended. So Germany wasn't pleased with the way it ended. They didn't agree. They did not think they were being treated fairly at the time. So within years, that country's anger would lead to the rise of one of the most ruthless world leaders ever, Adolf Hitler, and the beginning of World War II.